This is Paul McGann, and you're listening to the Five-ish Fangirls podcast.
Five-ish Fangirls, I love you, and I'm one of the five-ish. In fact, I'm the biggest one of the five-ish. I am the Sixth Doctor Colin Baker, and I wish you all well. Have fun.
The tangents and squee continue all to episode number 25 of the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. I've always believed in Santa Claus, but he looks a little different to me. Welcome everyone to this week's episode of the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. Merry Christmas, everyone!
Yes,
So glad you could join us.
Christmas.
Let's start off like we do every week by going around the virtual table and see who has joined us this week.
This is Brittany in Fort Pierce.
This is Chrissy from Callio, Utah.
This is Holly from Wisconsin.
This is Mitch in Kitchener, Ontario.
And this is Rachel, currently in South Bend, Indiana. So, hello, everyone. I hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas, or whatever it is you celebrate, or Hanukkah, or Kwanzaa, or Festivus. The feast, the turkeys have been eaten, the airing of the grievances has happened, the feats of strength have occurred.
The presents have been opened.
The presents have been opened. So.
Hooray.
Yes, so we've got, actually we don't have a whole lot to talk about this week because it's been Christmas, but we do have a little bit of news, so we'll talk about what news we have.
Well, the first bit of news, I think this one, I can't remember if this one came actually out on Christmas. I know the next one I have to talk about did, but this first one is the trailer for the Black Moon arc of Sailor Moon Crystal has been released. And there's a YouTube link from the YouTube Sailor Moon official YouTube channel, and this one is not subbed in English. It's the raw Japanese release, and it's so there's no subtitles. But I think there's a fan sub version somewhere out there. I've been out of town, as you heard from my intro, and so I haven't had my normal setup. So I haven't been able to watch it, but I have watched the trailer, and just from watching it, you see the first Sailor Moon Crystal version of Sailor Pluto and Sailor Chibi Moon at Chibiusa, and it's they've got a few clips, and some clips that I think would be from episodes further down the line, so maybe they're getting a head start on this, or it's just for the trailer, just so they could show Sailor Pluto. But it looks pretty good. I am excited for this next part, and I don't know when it officially starts. Kind of in my, I looked at the end of the trailer. It has some text in Japanese, which I cannot read, but I kind of sussed out. I think it's supposed to start. This arc is supposed to start on January 3rd, but don't quote me on that because I'm not sure if I'm reading it right. But it should be a lot of fun. The first Dark Kingdom arc is coming to an end here pretty quick. So if it's not the January 3rd, it is sometime in the new year. Either January, February would be my guess. So look forward to that. That'll be a lot of fun. And then my second bit of news, the Salt Lake Comic-Con FanX Facebook page teased this on Christmas Eve that there was going to be a big Doctor Who announcement, and I automatically started crying because I was like, I can't go to FanX unless something happens in the next month, because that's when FanX is. But Billie Piper, Rose Tyler herself, is coming to FanX at the end of January. So I've already been informed that I should go stalk her hotel and see if I could just see her.
I would do it
downtown Salt Lake. Yeah, if I, you know what, I may do that. Just kind of wander around, because it is Sundance Film Festival weekend. So it is tradition for people to just kind of wander around and see who you can spot. So I could possibly go see other stars other than who people are coming to FanX, because Sundance is going to be going on as well. So, you know what, I might just join the throng and go do that and see if I can find Billie Piper. But she'll be at FanX the end of January.
Yep.
So and just going off of the news I've heard of her recent convention appearances and in other places, she is quite the popular draw. So
No idea why.
Yeah, she is making the rounds.
No,
so
kidding.
she's on the convention
Love
circuit.
Bills. Yeah, she has been making the rounds recently, which is kind of interesting. I wonder what the deal is. Not that I'm complaining. It's just, for so long. I mean, she's been off the show for so long and hasn't really done conventions as far as I know, but
maybe now she just thinks it's a good time to do it. It's like, hey, let's
maybe it's because her
stuff.
kids are a little older, so she feels more comfortable traveling, I guess, or something.
Maybe. I mean, last year, the year before, Sylvester McCoy was all over the place. And
well, it was this year Sylvester was
Alan Baker and Paul McGann were everywhere too. So it's just it comes and goes. They it's just they all take turns at some point.
We'll take it.
They're all there. It's like and we the fans benefit. So go team.
So, and more as we get into the new year, conventions, we'll keep making announcements. So.
Indeed.
Stay tuned. Find the Facebook page for your local convention and like it, and then you'll be the first to know.
Yep.
Are we up to date on like the Gallifrey announcement?
I know we announced
know.
Alex Kingston. Did we? I don't remember if we said Rachel Talalay is going to be at Gallifrey.
I don't think we have.
I just announced it.
Okay, the most recent announcement has Rachel Talalay, Arwell Wynne-Jones, who was a production designer and art director on Doctor Who, Sarah Jane Adventures, and Torchwood Children of Earth. Colin Spall, who was in Remembrance of the Dogs and Cyber Mini Dipsville. And a couple other, a writer, Peter English, I pronounce that, and Hayden Black, who best known for his work on the quantity internet hit Goodnight Burbank, as well as from appearances on BBC America's The Brit List, including his documentary commentary on that show. So, it says they're getting close to completing the 2015, but would like to remind everyone that they have one or two gigs left to confirm.
And I did see that Gallifrey, they did say that the ticket transfers are now closed. So if you're hoping to pick up somebody's ticket who can't go, you can't. And I guess
you're gonna be watching it on Twitter with the rest of us.
Unless you actually go there, because I think they'll allow on-site transfer.
The Facebook post that I saw, they said they weren't, but I guess they'll do
They're
case
not
by
allowing on-site transfer.
Yeah, but if you still need to do a transfer, they can do internal, but you have to email them, and I think they're going to do it on a case by case basis. Probably, I would assume, extenuating circumstances. So, but for the most part, if you wanted to go to Galley this upcoming. It's too late. Sorry.
Too late.
Get your trigger finger button ready for when tickets go on sale for next year.
Or start planning for something else. There's Time Eddie and there's Chicago TARDIS. And,
LI Who.
Yeah, LI Who. Hurricane Who. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
There are plenty of Doctor Who conventions. You don't have to just go to Galley. Galley's just the one everybody hears about and knows about.
Because who doesn't want to go to California? Especially in the middle of February.
Yeah. And that's the closest one to me, because everything else is east of...
The Mississippi?
It's east of me, and I'm go to California.
Yeah.
All right.
When I bought my ticket, I initially, I haven't actually talked about it on the podcast, but I was originally wanting to go by Charlie. And so when I bought my ticket, that's the name I put on my badge. And then
Ah.
they're going by Mitch, and I'm like, I don't want to have. So I emailed saying, "Is it okay if I change the name on my badge?" And Sean got back to me saying, "Yeah, just tell us what you want us to change it to, and we'll do that." And I looked up the attendee search, and they've changed it. So
Cool.
That's good.
See?
my badge at
they're
Galley will
accommodating.
say Mitch Shoemaker.
Okay, there you go.
So if you're going to Galley, look for Mitch and
Yep.
say hi
Yes.
and tell her that. Well,
Hi.
Ask me for
I'm not-
ribbons.
yes. I was gonna say, tell her you like the podcast, but if you don't like the podcast, I don't want you to lie. I don't want you to, and I don't want you to tell her that you hate the podcast either, because that's not very nice.
Well, I'll have which should we take a vote of, like, do we want the rainbow or purple? Like, should we take an official vote?
Yeah, we might
Because so far,
put it
'cause
up.
from what I've seen in the
Get people to
Facebook
vote.
chat, it's leaning towards rainbow with a vote or two for purple. So I'm thinking going with rainbow.
Maybe we can put the images up on the blog and let people vote.
There we go.
Yeah, tell us what you think our ribbon
Yeah.
should
Yeah.
look like.
If you don't know what we're talking about,
we
we're
can
talking
put
about the
the-
ribbons. We're talking about our ribbons.
Yeah. So we can put but we should put a timeline on, because
Gotta order
I'm gonna
them.
need to order them soon.
Yes,
If I don't want to pay a huge amount of money to
expedite them.
To rush them.
ship
Yeah.
them quickly.
Yeah, we'll put it to a vote, and then however it ends up, that's what we're gonna do.
Indeed. Cool.
All right, bringing the happiness level down a couple of notches, unfortunately. We have another passing. The name on David Ryall is passed, and most I don't know how recognizable his name is to a lot of people, but if you're a Harry Potter fan, you will know him as Elphys Dodge in the Deathly Hallows. He actually Cartwright, who played the character before. But you remember Dodge was part of the Ministry of Magic on the and a member of the Order of the Phoenix. But he died actually on Christmas Day, unfortunately, at the age of 79. And Mark Gatiss, of all people, I'm not quite sure what the connection is there, but Mark Gatiss tweeted about it, and then Mr. Rail's daughter confirmed it on Twitter. Another loss to one of our fandoms, unfortunately. So
And I was just watching that movie earlier. I think it was on TV.
yeah. I think the ABC's been doing like their Harry Potter marathon that they do every Christmas.
Yeah.
Still can't quite figure out why Harry Potter is marathon on a network that's owned by Disney, but I'm not going to complain.
Hey, you can
It's
play
an
whatever.
ABC family.
Yep. You're gonna play Harry Potter. I'm there.
Yeah.
But yes,
It's sad to hear, especially the fact that he passed on
Yeah.
Christmas. That makes it seem kind of worse, actually, I think.
Yeah. Well,
But
or I'll bring us up a little bit. I believe yesterday was Maggie Smith's birthday, and I was going to put a Facebook post up, but
yeah.
I forgot. So Maggie Smith, the Professor McGonagall, the Lady Violet on Downton Abbey, and a whole host of other things that I know from my childhood, and I'm sure you other ladies, you know her very well.
Yes.
She's our favorite. We love her, so
Yeah.
we'll wish her happy
Yeah.
birthday here. So
And-
that brought us up a little bit.
Yeah. Well, and also today, the day we're recording, the 28th of December, it is also Stan Lee's birthday today.
Oh yeah,
So-
birthday.
Our Generalissimo Excelsior to Stanley. He's 92. You believe he is 92 and still kicking?
He is still going strong. This weekend, I mentioned I've been watching movies with my family, and my dad still hadn't seen Thor, and we were watching Thor: Dark World. He's seen the first one, so he needs to get caught up on a lot of things, and we were getting to that to where Stan Lee's cameo is, and the scene's kind of the scene's kind of out of place, and my dad, he's asking me kind of questions like, well, what are they doing now? And this, I'm like, Dad, just watch it. And that scene comes up because it's after Frigga's funeral, and that's all sad and the battle and everything, and then it cuts to where Eric Selvig is doing this big physics lecture.
Yeah,
and
he's like, "Can I have my shoe back?"
And then it cuts. There's Stan Lee gives my can you get my shoe back? Then it cuts back to Asgard. And my dad's like, "What was the point of that scene? Like to get Stan Lee in his cameo?"
Yes.
And he's like, "It's like all right."
Yeah.
And then he did watch a bit of Guardians of the Galaxy with us, and he was there. My dad saw where Stan Lee's cameo was, and he laughed. And I was like, "You gotta watch this in order." Well, you don't have to watch Guardians in order.
We watched Guardians because my dad got it for Christmas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was one of my personal Christmas presents to myself.
Yeah.
And my sister hadn't seen it yet. It's like, no, we gotta watch this.
We gotta recognize that.
And my dad watched enough, and he's like, oh, that's where this soundtrack is from that you got me. And I'm like, yeah. Like, I told you you'd like that. So anyway, yes, Stan Lee, 92 years old, still going strong.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of
May it ever be so.
Since we started on Marvel with Friends yesterday.
Yep.
Yep.
Yes, that's very fitting.
Yes.
Yep.
We planned that. We really did.
It was more like there are what, 12 Marvel movies, and there are 12. Well, no.
20.
Well,
There's like 20-something weeks, and there's like 11 or 10 or 11 movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the planning behind that. But yes, it serendipity that it was the day before Stan Lee's birthday.
Yeah. Yeah.
So birthdays and funeral news, I guess it kind of goes together.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still kind of loopy from Christmas. Sorry.
I think we all are.
Well, and last news. Apparently I'm not tired of doing photo challenges. I've lost count of how many I've actually hosted.
I'm glad you do it. I've kind of fallen off the wagon a little bit, but I'm glad you keep it going strong. They're fun to watch.
I meant to do the Christmas one, and then I realized halfway through the month that I forgot. I was just going through my day, scrolling, I think, on Tumblr, and it's ABCs of Christmas, elements or whatever, oh yeah, I meant to do that. Oops.
I even had one for that day. Anyway, so what is it in January? I need something good to look forward to in January.
This is a little different than what I've normally done with the ABCs, but it's kind of like a review and review for 2014. I'm calling it 2004, really. 2014.
Wow, 2004, really, Brittany?
10 years, really looking back.
It's 2014 in pitch was basically, some of the entries are favorite show that premiered in 2014, favorite picture of a celebrity, favorite photo challenge, most liked picture on Facebook, and those kind of stuff. I don't know, I just tried thinking of different things, unusual. I don't know, that would have been kind of fun. And
Yeah, a little different.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Yep. We'll put a link to the entire list on the...
See the entire list, and starts January 1st and goes the entire month. And
Hashtag 2014 in pictures.
Yep.
So feel free to join us. And Chrissy, do we have a book for January for the book club?
Oh yeah.
Speaking of falling off the wagon,
I was wondering.
this is what I think we're gonna do. This is what I think we're gonna do for the Goodreads book club. If you want to, bring a book that you have read, a Doctor Who book that you have read or heard of that you would like to read, and give us on our Goodreads page, give us a short review of it and ask us questions about it, get us talking about it. So this one's sort of a free. January is going to be a free choice. A free choice thing. I should have done it in December. I apologize. I've totally just lost track with everything. There really is no excuse. I've just been lazy. But this month we're gonna just, if there's a book that you've read before, doesn't have to be one you've read recently, just come and talk about it. Start a new, or just a new thread and see if anyone else has read it. Just bring new titles to our attention, and just one that you've liked, or even one that you haven't liked and you want to vehemently dislike it, but not too much, because I like to keep things positive.
Right.
But yeah, just bring it. It's free choice.
Yeah.
Free choice January, which really doesn't roll off the tongue, but well.
New Year free for all.
New Year free for all. I like it. Okay,
That sounds good.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Doctor Who book and why? And see if others have read it, or we may choose it later for a later entry in the book club. Hey, at least I'm giving you a choice. I'm not telling you I'm not telling you have to read this one.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's on our Goodreads page, the Traveling the Vortex Doctor Who Book Club. There's a link. We'll put a link to it on our blog, and I'll message the boys and say, link to this. This is what we're doing.
Yep.
I haven't updated it yet. My computer is not.
Did we have
doing
a
so.
December book, or did we
No.
fall off the wagon that far?
Wait, what?
Was there a book for
No,
December?
we didn't have
None
a
of us.
December book.
We did.
I'm sorry. No, we did not.
We did.
I had a poll up, and I just got busy, and I forgot to check it. This is you're seeing. This is 2014 for me in a nutshell. Can I just sit here for a second? 2014 has not been kind to me. In some ways, it has. Some ways there have been little tender
I saw
mercies
your
that have come up.
About
Yes,
how rough
yes.
2014's been.
Yeah.
It really has, and if I may be a little personal and sentimental here for a minute, I won't go too far on this, I promise. But 2014 has not been kind to me personally. There have been some fandom things that have been very good and very happy, and that I credit to keeping my sanity that way. And this podcast is one of those things that came in middle of the year, and it was just one of those things that's like, oh my gosh, I needed this right now. And there are some other things that have happened that I just credit to someone's looking out for me. I don't know who it is. Well, I could guess, but we're not going to get too philosophical here. But yeah, that's just just things fell off by the wayside, and that's just how life is. So
Yeah.
I guess that's going to be my New Year's resolution: do better with the book club. Because I have enjoyed it, and I kind of feel bad that I've dropped the ball on it in many ways. But I'm gonna try to fix that, and hopefully. But yes, come to Goodreads and come enjoy our discussions, because we did have some good discussion going on. I just wasn't a very good moderator, but I'm going to do better. So 2015, it's going to be better, because I can't do another year like this. The end. Let's talk about nice things now.
Yeah. And a reminder, because we brought it up here for a hot second, that we have started doing our Marvel with Friends tweet-alongs, and we did the first Iron Man last night, as of when we're recording this, the 27th, which unfortunately I didn't get to join in because I was doing second Christmas dinner with family. So I'm so full.
I didn't have my DVD with me.
Yeah.
That was my problem.
I'm still full from all the meals I've had in the last several days. It's crazy. But we've kicked that off, and the next one is in 2 weeks from yesterday, the 27th. On January 10th, we're going to be doing The Incredible Hulk as our next tweet along. So mark that on your calendars if you haven't already. So
Yep. Hashtag Marvel with Friends, and our calendar. We have a calendar mapped out for that on our website. So come join us.
Yep.
If you can.
Yes. So
This is to get us pumped up for Age of Ultron coming
Yes.
up in May.
it's going to be here before we know it.
I know. Ugh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it's 2015.
I know.
I mean, I was
But-
a kid and I'd watch Back to the Future Part 2. I'm like, 2015, that's so far away.
I
I'll be 30. Oh my gosh, it's here. It's like
Thank you, Marty McFly.
it's this week. See, I knew which year I was going to be turning 30 because I did all the math from Back to the Future.
And where are our hoverboards?
Right?
Well, let's
Where are flying cars? Where are hoverboards? Where's my
I know where I wanna
jacket
be.
that automatically knows what size to make it? That'll fit me.
Where's Jaws 34 or whatever number they were on?
I think it was 19.
19.
Because I saw a post of like, this is all the things we have to look forward to in 2015, even though none of them are even close to reality.
Yeah.
But like, this is all the things, and like, and they listed, and one of the things was Jaws 19.
Yeah. But that, I mean, you look at that movie and it's like just a futuristic version of the 80s.
Yeah.
Which,
Well.
looking back on it, was not so bad. Anyway.
But before we jump into the future, let's stick with the present and that present with a present. I don't know. There was a pun in there somewhere, I think.
Our Christmas present, courtesy of
Yes.
Mr. Stephen Moffat,
Yes.
Peter Capaldi, and Jenna Coleman.
Yeah. If you followed probably any of our Facebook feeds or any friends that are Whovians on Facebook, that you probably saw on Christmas that there was a little episode of Doctor Who that aired.
Yay!
This year's Christmas special, Peter Capaldi's first Christmas special, full Christmas special, I should say. He did kind of make an appearance at the end of last year's, but
Yeah. I remember last year everyone's like, it's Capaldi Day, and it's like, but Matt Smith's got to do his thing first. And
Yes.
Capaldi's going to be in it for like maybe a minute.
Yes.
If that.
This was
And
one.
complain about the color of his kidneys.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
This was 100% Capaldi, and there was no regeneration, which I'm sure made a lot of people happy.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe some people mad. I don't know. I think we've all had the same earworm that every time we've read the title for the episode leading up to it, Last Christmas, automatically
And
wham,
every podcaster,
starts
every
playing in your head. You hear George Michael
Every
going on.
podcast, when they say the title, somebody on the podcast, whether it's Traveling the Vortex or Radio Free Scaro or whoever, they start humming Last Christmas. And then you start singing it, and you probably just started singing it now.
Yes.
If you're listening to this.
Yes.
Yeah. But what are we starting reviews?
Oh, yes.
Then?
Yeah.
What I liked about this was, while the title is Last Christmas, and you obviously think of the song, there was another reason that they titled it Last Christmas, and it pointed it out in the episode, and that was just an example of how tightly written and how well written this episode was.
Yeah.
Is that and what I think the closest I think this came to in comparison from other past Christmas specials is a Christmas. I think this one reminded me a lot of A Christmas Carol, in that sort of an emotional through line with it, and it wasn't just aliens and action and attacking, even though those things were present in the story, but it was mostly about, the Doctor and his relationship with Clara, and, and then A Christmas Carol, it was the Doctor fixing Kazra and Sardik's mean heart, and it was just really, that was another one that was just really well written and good, and I think that it kind of paralleled that with it, that one being Matt Smith's first Christmas special and this being Peter Capaldi's first Christmas special. So I think maybe this is just, expect this from...
I have a big similarity between the Christmas Carol and Last Christmas, which is the sleigh thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, that happened too.
Because in Christmas Carol, it was that little... rickshaw type thing with the flying
sharks.
Oh, that's right.
And then Last Christmas, it was Santa's actual sleigh.
Well, with only 3 reindeer, because apparently that's all the BBC could afford.
but you know
pricey.
Yes, and the 12th Doctor.
Like I've seen gift sets that have
David Tennant using the TARDIS as the sleigh.
Oh,
Matt
yeah.
that was
Smith with the flying shark sleigh, and Peter Capaldi on Santa's actual sleigh.
Yeah.
Mhm. Which, watching the 12th Doctor, he was like, he's like, you want to go? And the 12th Doctor's like, oh, you're a figment of my imagination, blah, blah, blah. And
By
Santa's
either
like, oh, come on.
expiring or recovering mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's either gonna die or gonna wake up.
Yeah, and then the Doctor's like, oh, fine. And then he's just, he's just enjoying himself. And I'm like,
He's like a little kid with a new toy.
It's like a little kid.
Yes,
What kind of
like,
thing? And he turns around and looks at Claire. I'm flying to sleigh.
Yeah.
I know. I love it. He looks so happy, like having a good time, which is not something this Doctor did a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is
But
awesome.
yeah, but when Capaldi's out of character and he realizes, I'm the Doctor, I have the TARDIS, he's that giddy little kid
Yeah.
persona. And I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, you're letting me see this in your
Peter
Doctor.
Capaldi did a lot of giggling while filming the Christmas special.
So we may want to backtrack here and listen a little bit for those that didn't watch. The premise was that the North Pole, there's these people doing some sort of expedition on the North Pole, and they become attacked by this alien life form, and the Doctor, when we last left the Doctor and Clara, they'd separated, and Clara lied to the Doctor about Danny being alive, and the Doctor lied to Clara about finding Gallifrey, and Clara wakes up to find Santa Claus and a couple of elves on the roof of her apartment building, and the Doctor appears and, it's like, yes, I'm back, and get in the TARDIS, and the Doctor has some words with Santa, and Santa has some words with the Doctor, because apparently these two don't have a very buddy-buddy relationship, I guess. So,
I guess the Doctor is probably horning in on his territory.
I guess, I don't know.
When he was bringing Rose Tyler's red bicycle when she was 5.
Yeah, I guess so. But your kind of typical alien invasion story. It's kind of has them being in a remote location with these creatures. It's a little bit Kill the Moon with the spiders thingies. But then there's a whole other level of apparently these creatures, they latch onto your face, just like the facehuggers in Alien, which they directly reference it, which is one of the funniest lines of the entire episode.
A little bit of lampshading.
They're always getting invaded.
One of the scientists is all like, oh, it's like a face hugger, and everybody looks at him like, what's a face hugger? He's like, from the movie Alien. The Doctor's all like, there's a movie called Aliens? That's offensive.
Well, they call it it's a horror movie
called Alien. Yeah.
And that's what's offensive, is because it's a horror movie.
Yeah. Like, no wonder you keep getting invaded.
Now I want to see
I would like to point out that Earth was getting invaded before Alien came
Well, yes, that's true, but
this is true.
This is Capaldi's Doctor, so.
Yeah. And kind of the setup of this, like, the people who've been attacked, and they've got the facehugger aliens on their heads. They're laying in this infirmary. It kind of reminded me of is it the Moon Base, the second Doctor with Jamie, when he gets attacked and he wakes up and he's yelling about the Phantom Piper and the Cybermen is coming for him.
Yeah.
So this kind of the setup kind of reminded me of that. As I was watching it, I'm like, this is like the Moon Base.
Yeah.
But no Phantom Piper and no Jamie, sadly.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
I got
okay.
a little brief flashback to Waters
I'm
and
sure
Wise,
Keith
and
would have
please
liked
don't bring
there
up
to be
anything
Cybermen
with
as well.
Yeah.
But what we did get. But anyway, these facehugger aliens, what they do is they clamp onto you and they basically suck your brain out. But they give you this they call it like an anesthetic or a numbing agent. And what it does is it makes you see something pleasant, like in a dream or something. So so you don't struggle and you don't feel like you're dying and you don't realize. But there's there's a little tiny pain on the side of your head, kind of like an ice cream. They call it the ice cream pain, which you guys see.
Brain freeze.
You eat ice cream, brain freeze. Eating ice cream too fast, and you don't realize it until they don't realize that that's going on until the Doctor points it out. And Clara gets attacked by the alien, and she ends up in this dream state where Danny Pink is very much alive. It's Christmas morning, and Danny's in a Santa suit, and he's like, "Come downstairs. We gotta open presents and have Christmas." And the doctor's trying to pull Clara out of the dream state, and you see this chalkboard with words written on, like, "You are dying, Clara," and like he's shouting for her, and she ignores it because she's like, "Danny's here, and yeah, this is great. This is my dream," and everything. And it's like it was kind of gut wrenching to watch, because it's like, I, as a viewer, I know Danny is dead and he's not coming back, and there's a little moment where Clara yelled at the doctor because the doctor said something about Danny, and she's like, "Danny's dead, and I don't want to hear about it." And the doctor's like, "Oh, I thought, you know." And I was like, okay, I'm really glad they're addressing this, and I kind of feel like this whole special was addressing all those emotional loose ends that were left at the end of Series 8, which I guess this is a benefit of having Christmas special come so soon after Series 8 ends, and not having to wait through the summer and the fall to get here. And so, because you can address all that. And so, yeah, so the doctor, he purposely gets the brain, or the dream, what do they call it? The dream crab?
They're
the
dream crabs.
He knocks on their front door.
That's her front door. And then, he says, "This isn't real. Danny's dead. This isn't, none of this is going on." And Danny, Dream Danny, he comes in and he's like, I didn't save the world. I didn't risk
I didn't die saving the world. I died saving Clara.
Saving Clara. And I was like, yes, right there. That is Danny Pink.
Mm-hmm.
And that is why I love his character. And I'm glad he got that final moment.
This is a proper send-off.
Yeah, this is a proper send-off. He's not, half dead, half Cyberman, half taken over.
A floating cloud in Clara's old hallway.
Floating cloud. This is an actual goodbye for Danny, and I think that more than anything is kind of that closure that I needed to see to be satisfied with this story.
That's what I felt like it was. I felt like it was proper closure for Danny.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm glad that they did that. And I was surprised because I hadn't heard at all that Samuel Anderson had filmed anything for this. So
Exactly.
They wanted to keep that a surprise. There was a lot of surprises in this episode, but we'll get to that.
Yep.
But wait, that's where that scene's also where we got the title drop for the episode, and Danny explains that he's telling Clara in the dream, he's like, he's trying to convince Clara that she needs to wake up, otherwise she's gonna die.
And she clearly wants to stay.
And she's still having trouble moving on from Danny being dead, and she wants to stay. And
can you blame her?
Yeah, and Danny explains to Clara, is like, you know why people get together at Christmas? And he's like, because essentially people know that this could be the last time that they see each other, so every Christmas is last Christmas. Because you don't know if you're going to see your loved ones for the next Christmas, because anything can happen, like what happened to Danny. You get walking down the street and hit by a car. So it's unfortunate as that is, so that's where the title comes from, and it has nothing to do with George Michael, thank goodness.
Yeah, I mean, it's a morbid thought, but it's also kind of the way it's framed. It's a very nice thought, because it's, and especially coming on Christmas Day, like me, I was, we were talking off mic about, like, when I was watching this, like, my brother was in the other room making, blending some smoothie or something and kind of making comments and stuff, and then you have Danny Pink come in and say, every Christmas is like Christmas, and I'm just kind of like, okay, I need to appreciate my family and my loved ones more, and enjoy this time that I have to spend with them, because, now that I'm, older and I've moved away, I don't see them as often, and yeah, they're my family, and sometimes they get on my nerves, but I still love them, and I still, I'm glad I get to come home and spend time with them. So,
Yeah. So it was nice to see Danny again, and feels like this time he's actually gone. Although again, he may pop up again, or Orson Pink may pop up again at some point. We don't know, but for now it seems like we got some closure with Danny, which is good. So Clara wakes up from her dream, and and so is the doctor, because the only way the doctor was able to go into her dream and communicate with her was to have one of these things attached to his face. But they wake up and the crabs fall off and they kind of disintegrate. It's one of those, if they're, I guess their biological impulse, if it fails, they die. Or something.
Yeah, they just dissolve into dust.
They just dissolve, but there's still more of them, and there's these people at this science research base, and Santa Claus is there with his two elves, and the doctor's trying to figure out how he can save everyone's lives, and all this explanation, scientific stuff happens, and the doctor realizes that he and Clara woke up, but they're in a dream, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's just like Inception," and I'm like, "No, the dream within a dream has been done before, but Inception, I guess, is the newest thing. So I've never seen it, but I understand the premise of it. That you can be in a dream-like state and not know it, I guess."
So and the only reason they realize that they're still in it is they feel like the ice cream paint on the side of their head. They're like,
right.
Yeah, I kind of. They all kind of.
Because the doctor remembers that how they all met was they were being attacked by these space cream crabs, whatever.
And they don't remember getting away.
Yeah. And then they realize that they feel the ice cream pain in their temple.
Yeah. So they have to figure out a way to wake up, and they do. Ish.
And then they get out of the infirmary.
Yeah, and they get out, but then they realize that they're still in a dream.
And the way they realize it is
stuff happens, and one of the scientists dies.
Yes.
One of the elements, an element in the dream.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna go escape in the TARDIS. But then Dream Doctor and Dream Clara
with the things on their face.
With face huggers on. And then Santa shows up again. So they all go for a sleigh ride. And this is where the Doctor drives Santa's sleigh.
Right.
And all the people, the scientists from the base, they slowly wake up. So they disappear from the dream, and then you see where they are really.
Right. And we find out that they're not actually scientists, that they're just random people that have been attacked in their home.
Yeah.
But none of them were actually scientists.
She's with her granddaughter, and they're having
Christmas.
In a wheelchair. She's in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And and she's like, oh, that was a weird dream, but she sees the dust of the dream crab on the floor, and another young woman, she wakes up and she's sitting on her couch in her home, and she's got a list of what she wants to do over her Christmas break, and there's like watch Alien, and have a throne. It says Thrones marathon, which we kind of take to mean Game of Thrones. And there's another one, Forgive. I can't remember the guy's name, but it was like David.
And then Miracle on 34th Street.
Oh yeah, watch Miracle on 34th Street. And these are like all things that were mentioned in the dream state at the North Pole base. And she kind of realizes that whoever Dave is, which we take to mean as her boyfriend, husband, possibly some other relative, someone important, and she goes to. She decides that yes, she's forgiven him for whatever he's done. So it's kind of a poignant moment that you kind of realize that she's whatever she's gone through in this dream state, that it's helped her come to grips with whatever happened there.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an interesting what happened with that story, and like it's something you'll never get, but you can kind of make up your own
headcanon.
Yeah.
Sure, we can find.
And,
yeah.
A lot of people are saying that they would like her as the next companion after Clara.
I've seen that, and I'm like, yeah, she was really good. I liked her a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, the only people left in Santa's sleigh as they're flying around London, going by Big Ben and all that, is the Doctor and Clara, and the Doctor's trying to convince Clara to wake up, and so Santa, and the Doctor ends up waking up and disappearing. And it's just Santa and Clara, and the Santa's all like, Clara, don't you think you should be waking up? Because if she stays asleep much longer, the crab's gonna to fully break into her brain, and there'll be no reversing it, and she'll die. And she's like, no, just a few more minutes, because even though she's not in a dream state with Danny, she's still in this dream state that's probably more happy for her than real life, because real life is work without not having Danny and not being with the doctor, and she's probably still trying to escape reality. But the doctor wakes up, and it's weird because the place he wakes up with the crab looks an awful lot like the volcano from where Clara was dreaming about throwing the TARDIS keys into the volcano. It looks like the exact same spot, which is weird. So, like, I kind of like some explanation of where exactly was he when he was attacked by the crab.
I don't think we're gonna get it.
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those. It'll probably be explained in like season 12 or something. Knowing Moffat,
maybe it'll be like just a throwaway line, like there are a lot of volcano planets. Or something
exactly,
like that.
Probably. So the doctor wakes up, rushes the TARDIS, goes to Clara's flat, finds her in bed with the crab that's attached to her face. But he's like, I figured out how to detach them even if you're still asleep using the sonic screwdriver. He's like, I know how to shock their like neural areas to get them to let go. And he uses a sonic screwdriver to get the crab off Clara. And Clara wakes up, and he's like, how long has it been? And she's like, about
62 years.
62 years. And she's old. Really, really old.
And then we get the scene when they're in her sitting room, and then the scene with the cracker. I got the.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
They out the cracker. They're not going to mirror that scene from Time of the Doctor, are they?
And they did.
They did.
Help her just pull the cracker open. Yeah.
And Clara explains to him that it's. I never got married. That I had suitors, I had proposals, but I turned every one of them down because none of them could compare to Danny. But she traveled the world. She said she taught, in every country in Europe.
She learned to fly a plane.
She learned to fly a plane.
I realized, when I saw a GIF set afterwards, realized that was a reference back to not being able to fly a plane in Bells of St. John.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's right. That's making me sad all over again.
I'm sorry.
No, it's not your fault. This whole episode is just so, like...
It was.
I'm getting ahead of myself, but when it was over and I was watching it on BBC America, and right after that they had a repeat of Time of the Doctor, and I was like, nope, I'm done. Yeah. I can't do any more emotional nothing. I'm like, I'm going to bed.
Yeah. But
I was like, nope, I can't watch this one after that. I'm sorry.
Once is enough. I don't need to see it again.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The doctor's like, the doctor's all like, I wish that, I'd come back sooner, and essentially for all these years. And the Santa comes bursting in and is all like, well, if you could do it all over again, would you?
How much do you wish?
Yeah, how much do you wish you could come, go back? And at this point, as far as we know, Santa is just a construct that everyone in the dream, or at least somebody in the dream, had come up with as, who would you want to come, I guess, rescue you? Or who's like the safest person that you could come up with that you knew would be safe and would be trustworthy and helpful and I guess happy and all this, and Santa Claus is it. And
that's kind of how you know that from the beginning. So because when Clara at the very beginning she caught Santa and his elves on her rooftop, and it's like that's how you know that this whole thing has been a dream, because Santa was there. So every time Santa showed up, you've been in the dream,
right?
And so that's kind of what that is. And I think that's a really clever idea, because when we saw the preview at the end of Death in Heaven.
Yeah.
So apparently the Doctor was in the dream state then, and he was, and so he saw Santa. So we'll blame it on the Doctor or whoever. And so he was so they're all kind of in this whole everything's kind of horrible and this sucks and I need someone to make it all better, and even the doctor needs Santa Claus
Yes.
to make things happy and good again. So it's kind of an interesting interesting way to do it.
Yeah. And can I just say, Nick Frost as Santa was brilliant casting.
Yeah, that was perfect. That was
absolutely
wonderful.
Brilliant casting. He was so funny. Absolutely hilarious. Not what you would expect Santa to be like, but it was perfect for Doctor Who. This portrayal of Santa is absolutely freaking brilliant.
If they want to bring him back, I'm all for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Problem is, he'd have to be in a dream state.
Well, maybe not. We'll get to that here in a second. So,
that's true.
So
I saw a thing afterwards where Moffat said the entire thing was a dream except for that last scene.
Yes.
And the tangerine in the window was supposed to be a hint that Santa was trying to get the Doctor and Clara back together.
Yep.
Or something.
So far as Moffat's concerned, Santa's still real, which is fine by me.
And he could very well be a Time Lord, because he did say that, you know, when they were talking about
on the inside.
On the inside. So I'm like, ha! So like, you know, this was before all the dream stuff come up, and I was like, oh my gosh, they're gonna make Santa a Time Lord. All the fan theories have come true. Like,
I think we called it first.
Yeah. So,
when fanon becomes canon, right?
Exactly. So Santa, you know, with Santa there, the Doctor realizes, well, if Santa's here, then I must be in another dream. So the Doctor wakes up again in the same place with the volcano. It comes back. It does the same thing with the sonic screwdriver. And this time Clara is young. The Clara that we would expect to see. And the Doctor, you know, when she's awake and breathing and seems healthy and all that, and you know, the Doctor's all like, you know, the TARDIS is outside all the time in space. He's like, you could come with. And he asks her, but at the same time kind of demands that she comes with him. He's like, please don't say no. You know, and she smiles and she's like, you know, Happy Christmas, Doctor. And they run off into the TARDIS, and the tangerine is sitting on her windowsill. So, and the credits roll, and there's if you hadn't heard all of the rumors and this drama with is Jenna leaving, is Jenna staying, and you didn't know what was going on, so you didn't understand the significance of the end of the episode, there was a nice title that says The Doctor and Clara will return in season 9. So now we can definitively say Jenna is staying.
Yep. Which that title, considering what Once Upon a Time series, the next chunk of season 4 is going to be about, I'm just going to be confused between Doctor Who and Once Upon a Time. Ever, because I'm like, you guys, you're like borrowing the same characters pretty much. Yeah. They did that last season with Robin Hood too.
Yeah.
But I'm not complaining.
Yeah. So, but
something we didn't say at all from the beginning of this one show that I was really happy about is we got snow in the title sequence.
Yes.
Oh yeah. And
yeah.
I noticed that, and then I guess I kind of forgot because they were just so enthralled with the whole episode. But yeah, the title sequence was Christmasified, if I can use.
It was like the first time they did that. I noticed that. It was like there was snow in the clock.
Yeah.
And on the TARDIS.
And some of the swirly stuff was
the first swirly clock thing. It burst out, and there's like all this snow, and then it goes into the next part, and then there's where the names come up. And Nick Frost's name was in the title opening title sequence, so I thought that was cool. I wondered if they were gonna do something like that for him. And they did. But yeah, I like what they did with the title sequence for Christmas.
I was
nice.
I kind of confused me because I was all like, are those snowflakes? I mean, have those always been there and I just not noticed, or is this different? Or because I'm the same person that didn't notice they put Clara's eyes in the title sequence for Death in Heaven. So I'm not the best at keeping track, apparently.
I saw the snowflake pattern, and having watched Frozen, I don't know how many times by now. I've gotten very adept noticing where the 6 points snowflake patterns are in
Yeah.
anything. So I saw those on the clock, and I was like, "That's a snowflake. It's like Frozen."
A little bit. So.
So I'm like, "That's cool."
Yeah.
I think I noticed it because it was like I've always kind of secretly, I guess, in my back of my brain, I kind of wanted that to happen before.
Yeah.
So when I first saw that, I was like, oh.
And the nice thing is these snowflakes didn't have teeth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like in the snowmen.
Unlike.
So I was like, I think this is the first time they've ever done anything like this for the Christmas special for the title sequence, like making it especially Christmas themed.
Ish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sort of.
I guess. I don't. Like I said, I don't pay enough attention to the title sequence.
I'm pretty sure that it's the first time.
So, yeah, I really like this episode.
I did too.
So this one's definitely has rewatchability to it.
Oh yeah.
Yes, it does.
And you definitely have to. You can't when you're going back and rewatching Series 8. You cannot end on Death in Heaven. You have to end with this one because. And and Santa even lampshades that in Death in Heaven. They say you can't end the story like that, and I love.
Yeah, right.
I love that this is where the story ends for that particular story arc.
Yeah.
And I don't. And again, I think this is probably the first time that I'm aware of, or that I really know that the story has ended with Christmas and not with the end of the actual season. So it's kind of fun that they've had the ability to play around with the number of episodes and the storytelling technique that they do with this. So I'm glad that they're taking advantage of that and doing a few different things with it.
Yeah. And I'm glad.
It makes me sad that it's not on the box set.
Well, yeah.
I don't know. Is it?
The dilemmas Keith has every season. Do I buy the set? Do I buy the individual?
Maybe they'll do a special box set, and say Series 8 with Last Christmas on there.
Just for Keith from Traveling the Vortex.
Yes. So there, we fixed it for you.
So I'm saying I'm the weird one because I own both A Christmas Carol on its own, and I'm drawing a blank of which series its box set's on. Is it Series 6?
It is
5 or 6.
I think it's on 6. Yes, because I got Series 5, and it does. Yeah, it's on the Series 6 box set.
Because all my box sets are a bit far from where I am at the moment, so I have to go check.
Yeah, I don't.
They're in the mail.
Yeah, because I remember because I was doing something with it, and the DVD has a shark on it, and I'm like, it's the same DVD with Day of the Moon, or Impossible Astronaut, Day of the Moon.
Okay.
Yep.
And the shark kind of looks weird, but I'm not the one that designed it, so.
It's a flying shark.
Flying shark. I guess it can look whatever it makes.
Yeah. And I can't speak for everyone else, and you can voice your opinion either way, but I'm also very glad that Jenna is staying for another season.
Yes.
I had actually, because Christmas, I'm taking pictures and posting them on Facebook because I'm like, yay, Christmas! And then I'm like, wait a minute, the Christmas specials aired in the UK. I shouldn't be on social media.
Yeah.
I stayed away from Twitter and Tumblr. But Facebook, I had seen a few news articles, and some of them were very, we found out what Jenna's
status
actually going
is.
to do.
Yeah.
And they didn't spoil it in the headline, but one of them did, and they said, Jenna is staying. I'm like, oh, good.
Yeah.
So I was okay with being spoiled for that.
And the thing is, with the way that the last, bit of the episode, because maybe now that we know for sure that she's staying, that maybe she and Moffat and all of them will clarify some of the stuff that been posted in some of these articles with the supposed sources. Mm-hmm. But the rampant rumors that were going around was that first she was leaving, and then she was staying, and then it was, well, she was going to leave, but then she decided to stay, and they needed to change the ending of the special because now she was deciding to stay. And the way that the last bit of the dream in the end, it kind of makes sense that may have actually happened, because they could have ended with
old
old Clara,
old and
yeah,
having lived a full life.
right, and
that
that could have been
been
it,
that.
and we would have never known that was a dream. We would have thought that was reality, and the doctor would have gone on, and Clara would have been, a died an old woman, and that would be
And
the
she
end of
lived
it.
her life, and
Yeah, but
that's
yeah.
that.
So I could kind of see that maybe that may have been what happened, but we may never know.
Or
Honestly.
it could even be, and I don't know if they're this clever, but it even could have been a clever marketing ploy. Will she, to tie in with the story? Will she? Won't she?
Yeah.
And that ensures that people will tune in and find out, is she going to stay? Is she going to leave?
Yeah.
Because last year they had, Matt was leaving, and so a lot of people tuned in to watch the regeneration episode. But I don't know that the BBC is quite that clever with their marketing. Moffat kind of is.
I don't think so. No offense to the BBC. Moffat, on the other hand, he's a evil genius troll, is what he is.
He's a savvy marketer. He can, regardless of how you feel about him otherwise, he knows how to draw in an audience.
Yeah.
Whether that audience is friendly or hostile, well, doesn't matter. He's just there to get eyeballs on the TV screen.
Mm-hmm.
And he does it the best way he knows how.
Yeah.
Yep.
And,
so stick,
yeah.
We all have our talents, and that's his. So stick with it. Stick
I was
with
gonna
what you
say
know, Moffat.
something, but then you were talking,
Sorry.
and I forget what it was.
Oh, I'm
I hate when
sorry.
that happens.
I hope you remember, because now I want to hear what you said.
Yep.
I
don't remember.
Yeah. But yeah, it comments after the fact that Jenna said essentially she couldn't walk away with the story being unresolved, which hopefully that means that we will get some stuff resolved, because I know a lot of people still want to, was that actually the doctor in Listen, when did they actually get to go to Gallifrey, and that was Clara talking to a young doctor? What is the origin of Orson Pink? Is he a great grandson, or is he some other sort of relative, and that's how that works? And knowing Moffat, some stuff will probably get resolved, and others he'll leave us hanging for probably a season or two.
Yep.
How long?
Right.
Crack in the wall, the crack in Amy's wall. We went like 3 or 4 seasons without getting any sort of resolution to that, and the TARDIS exploding. So who knows? However, I'm sure a lot of it depends on how much longer Moffat stays on as showrunner for Doctor. I know a lot of people want him to go.
Well, I think with every showrunner, there's always people like so and so must go.
Yeah.
But he keeps writing really good stuff, and I haven't been disappointed with him yet. I know. Yeah. But then again, I'm one of those I guess I'm just easy to please or something. I don't know. But I like it. I genuinely like what he does.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
We're also in the same camp of any who is good for the most part.
If all I had to watch was the Twin Dilemma, well, by gum, I'll watch it.
I would.
There are redeeming qualities even to that one.
I would. Maybe not for the same reasons you would, but I'd watch that one over and over again.
That's true.
So. Anyways, so yes, that was this year's Christmas special. So I thought it was fabulous. One of my favorites, I think.
Yeah.
I think of the Christmas specials in general, and I think probably of Capaldi's run. I think it's also one of the stronger episodes since he started as a doctor. So, I mean, it wasn't perfect. None of it, Doctor Who never is. But I mean, this was entertaining. They had me guessing, just like as I realized, oh, it's a dream. We're getting dreams within dreams. It's like, you know, I was fully convinced that when we got to old Clara that was it. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be it. Jen is actually leaving. This is where they're gonna end it. And then Santa comes bursting in, and I'm like, yes.
Clara's not good. I mean,
Yeah.
and even being spoiled and watching that scene, I'm like, oh, maybe I read that wrong. Maybe she really is going. This can't be right. But yeah, like what you were saying before, like with this being one of the strongest ones of Capaldi's run, and I've enjoyed all of them. Some more than others. Like there have been a few that I've been kind of like, yeah, it was good, but not as good as what before. And then and on Christmas, BBC America had a bit of a marathon, and I was just kind of watching it just in between times. And so I watched End of Mummy on the Orient Express, some of Flatline, and then they had In the Forest of the Night. And that was one on first viewing I was just kind of middling on, and then I didn't really rewatch it and was just kind of like, I don't care if I rewatch this again. But now I rewatched it a little bit. I was like, you know, this one isn't too bad. So, I don't know, maybe I was just because it was being interrupted by commercials. I could take it in smaller chunks. But...
And if you haven't gotten your Doctor Who fix, I think the BBC America is doing another marathon going into New Year's.
Yeah, they're doing Merry or Happy Who Year or something like that. Yeah, that was advertised all over the place. And then you have the Tudor Royal Hangover on New Year's Day.
Did it like a almost week-long Doctor Who marathon from like Saturday up to the new Christmas special. So I tuned in a couple days ago and caught like a bit of the Matt Smith era.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been all over.
Yeah.
So if you want to watch it,
they did 5 days. On BBC.
Although
I can't remember when it started. It's like 5 days.
Funny is my DVR like had somehow registered like the entirety of Series 6 as new. And I have my DVR set to record new episodes of Doctor Who. So it was set to record all of Series 6, and I discovered they had already recorded all of the specials. Like the David Tennant 2009 specials. So like,
man, you're set for life.
Fiddle around with the DVR and reboot it and figure it out, and it sorted out. It didn't record what it didn't need to.
So check your DVRs, folks.
You may
midnight on like New Year's, like it was December 23rd, and it was Series 6 was due to start at midnight, so it was like just before that. I'm like, so I'm watching the end of Series 5 and like Christmas Carol, and then I know that it's a recording. Like, we don't have the space on our DVR for that. So I'm trying to figure out before midnight. So that was fun.
Yeah. Check your DVR, folks. Just in case.
Yep, they might have some Christmas surprises for you.
Like, it was no other season. Like, it was the 2009 specials and Series 6, and nothing else from the marathon recorded. Or is set to record or anything.
Maybe your DVR is part TARDIS and it went back into 2006 and it thought it was new.
But it was just Series 6. It wasn't Series 7, Series 8. Those weren't set to record.
Do you own Series 6 on DVD or anything?
Yes.
Well, then you don't need it.
Theory. I was gonna say maybe it knows that that's the one you needed.
No, I have it on DVD, and
That's what I said. I was trying out a theory.
Oh,
Goodness, I'm sorry.
It's a mystery. Mystery. Yeah. I guess we should. I didn't mention this, but I guess I probably should have. But I can mention it now in the end of the episode where it said the Dr. Clara will return in season 9 or whatever it said. Will return season 9, and it gave us. And this was actually announced several days ago, but they made sure to put this in the end teaser that we have the name for the first episode of series 9, which it will be called The Magician's Apprentice.
Not to be confused with The Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is what Once Upon a Time is doing.
Yes.
So keep that straight in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sorcerer. Same thing.
Same thing.
Pretty much.
Well,
I
and
told us there's some technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Don't you?
as we've learned, sometimes the titles are exactly what they sound like. You know, Mummy on the Orient Express was a Mummy on the Orient Express.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Robot of Sherwood. There were robots in Sherwood Forest. And then the other ones are more obscure, like, you know, Last Christmas. You know, we all thought George Michael, and George Michael had nothing to do with it. So, take the title as you will.
Yeah.
So,
So
we don't know when it's going to air yet.
we'll find. I'm sure we'll find out. And
Sometime, hopefully.
Whatever day it's gonna be, Sean's gonna say it's
Easter Sunday.
Easter Saturday.
Easter Saturday.
Yep.
Easter Saturday.
We do
That's
know.
what I meant.
We do know that that they are starting filming in January, which is how they could keep the secret of whether or not Jenna was coming back. That's how they could keep that secret, because they didn't need to announce it until they started filming, and they don't start filming until January. So
Right.
I do remember that being said by Moffat in one article or another, probably several
Yeah.
different ones. So look for, if you're a spoiler phobe, look out for those. If you actively seek out spoilers, still look out for those. And
Yep.
let the rampant speculation begin,
Yes.
because certainly I'm sure it already has.
Yeah.
So, what do you think for the Galley Ribbons? What do you think of giving them a week to vote? Like, about a week,
sounds
so
good.
that
That sounds
and
good.
then we'll announce the results next week on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
We'll
Sounds good to
we'll
me.
give you until we record the next episode. So,
Which is usually Sunday evening.
yeah.
So,
We're being a little wibbly wobbly depending on whether we are doing Marvel with Friends or not doing Marvel with Friends that particular week. So,
Yeah.
We're working on it.
yeah. Oh.
This whole podcast has been a work in progress on so many levels.
It has been. It's been fun though.
Yeah.
It's still kind of funny. It's like as we were getting, you know, as I was getting my computer all set up to get on Skype and all that, and I was thinking, it's like, you know, this time last year we had been on Skype a couple of times, just kind of chat. Like the first time that I ever talked to Chrissy and Brittany, it was just the three of us on Skype after we all went and saw The Day of the Doctor, and we just like squeezed for like 4 hours talking about the 50th anniversary special. But then
one of those hours at least was. Well, no, wait. Legacy hadn't come out yet, had it?
No, but that was when we talked about when we were talking about the Time of the Doctor. That's when we kind of we were quiet.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. So at Christmas time last year, a few of us were on Skype, and I'd gotten my iPad for Christmas, and of course one of the first things I downloaded was Doctor Who Legacy. So we're on Skype, and we're all just playing Doctor Who Legacy and occasionally giving each other pointers, but for the most part, you just heard the sound effects in the background, and we weren't really saying anything.
Or cussing when one of us lost.
Yeah, and we died. But it was those early Skype conversations like what we were doing this time last year that we were all like, hey, maybe we should think about doing a podcast, and then it took another 6 months for it to get off the ground. But you know, it's really been kind of a year-ish since we started doing the whole Skype thing and just decided that maybe we should hit record while on Skype and not play Doctor Who Legacy. That would be a really weird episode, I think, for a lot of people to listen to.
We just played Legacy.
Yeah, for was gonna sit there and play Legacy for like 2 hours, and you just listen to us.
You're like, that stupid Cyberman?
Yeah.
I couldn't get past it. What do I do?
That'd be like an
Yeah.
interesting like
Yeah. Oh. So Christmas is a special time of year for us.
Mm-hmm.
So even more so now
Mm-hmm.
because of this. So, but we have enjoyed doing this, as frustrating as it's been sometimes with all the trying to figure out all the technical stuff. You know, you listen to some of our episodes and people disappear and voices sound funny and there's weird background, you know, dogs barking in the background, crickets chirping sometimes.
And getting our schedules.
Yeah, getting the
matched
schedules
up.
working together, and it's just been been a whirlwind, but it's been a lot of fun.
Indeed. Yes.
And we look forward to hopefully making 2015 be even better, and the year of the 5-ish. We're gonna take 2015 by the reins, like the Doctor of Santa's sleigh, and go yippee-ki-yay! So.
Yep.
Yeah.
I really liked how Santa was writing Rudolph that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Santa's entrance was classic.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah.
Forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, there's something else I wanted to mention. I don't know, maybe it was mentioned before. I was having some technical difficulties, but did we mention Michael Troughton?
Oh, not yet.
Oh yeah, Michael Troughton was in this one. In fact, he was the first one to. He was the one that got sucked in the screen. But
He was the one that got.
That's right. Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, he's a son of Patrick Troughton.
Mhm.
And I think he wrote a book about his dad fairly recently. I mean, not like since like last year or something. But yeah, he was. What?
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna make like a silly little thing, like what's up with the Troughton sons being professionals, because I can't remember
David
the other ones.
Troughton?
Yes, David Troughton was the professor in Midnight.
Yeah.
Typecasting. No, I don't.
Typecasting something.
I don't know.
They should get him back and have him be some mad alien overlord.
Yeah.
Something or other. I don't know. Then that wouldn't be typecasting.
Yeah.
Nope. Give him something new.
Bring him back and make him Eldrad or something. Eldrad must live. I don't know.
That'd be good.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because, you know, we had him in the episode, yet I kept seeing the video times or whatever. The former Doctor Who companion returns for Christmas special. And I hadn't seen it yet, so of course I'm not going to click on it. But then I watched the episode, and then I looked at the article, and they're like, yeah, the return of Danny Pink. And I'm like, yeah, so...
I'm like,
but no mention that the son of a former Doctor was also in the episode. Now we're going to talk about the fact that Danny Pink is back, even though he hasn't been gone that long. He's been gone as long as Doctor Who has been off the air the last couple weeks.
Yep.
So
I think I know there was an article with Michael Troughton. I can't remember if it was in Doctor Who magazine or Radio Times or something that he was that because he was in this special, they had a special interview with him, like talking about his dad and what he remembers of him, and just kind of taking this opportunity to say, hey, yeah, this guy, his dad was the Doctor many years ago, and here he's going to talk about it a little bit because he's going to be in Doctor Who and do that. And I didn't read the article. I don't know why I didn't. It was just one of those Christmases. This is a crazy time of year, and I just didn't click on it. So
yeah,
but I did see that that was such a thing that existed. We should try to track that down again. Probably in my Feedly account. Anyway. So yeah, Last Christmas, thumbs up all the way around.
Indeed.
2014 was a good year for Doctor Who fans. Not as big and flashy as 2013.
Yeah.
But still pretty good. It's a solid year.
Yes.
Yes.
And now we're stuck waiting.
Yeah.
This just in, Doctor Who's still not on.
Yeah.
Well, it's on reruns on BBC America,
Yeah.
but other than that, nope. No new stuff.
No new. Wow. So,
But they're going to start making the new Who, so.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And we got the like we mentioned at the beginning, the conventions. So go see the stars at the various conventions, and as of as of Christmas and the last couple of days, as far as everyone's concerned, Jenna still will be making an appearance at the Comic-Con here in Indianapolis in March. So Glenn's theory about if you're if you're main cast on the show, you can't attend conventions as a guest, may not hold water unless something happens. And I'm assuming she'll still come as long as the shooting schedule for Series 9 doesn't conflict. I could see her having to back out because of the shooting schedule, but not because of this old contract stipulation that they used to have where if you were on the show, you couldn't attend a convention while you were contractually obligated to the show, which I still don't quite understand how that
That kind of seems
works.
silly.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you want the stars to be out promoting? I don't know.
I don't know.
They just different.
Well, usually it's just BBC sanctioned stuff, like San Diego.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they found a way for her to get around that.
Yeah. Because obviously I'm not.
Something could come up and they announce it different, and she'll have to back out. But until they announce otherwise, let's just assume she'll be there.
Yes, and if she does have to back out, Billy Piper's making the rounds. I would not mind a substitution. I'm just saying.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm just saying.
Yep.
Yeah. In the meantime, January is just around the corner, and a lot of our shows are coming back in January, and some new stuff's coming back, or coming in for the first time. I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't work. But yeah,
Not really.
So not everything, but a fair amount of shows are coming in back up in the new year. So
yes.
I'll have
I
that to
already
look
have
forward
my
to.
DVR set for Agent Carter.
Yay! Agent Carter.
Have you guys? I guess that was something we should have put in the news. That there have been clips and promos for that.
No,
Maybe we've talked about it before. I don't remember now.
The teaser or trailer for the entire series, I watch those. But once they start putting up clips from episodes, I try not to watch those. So just in case. So that's a personal thing. I'm all for trailers, but actual clips, I try to avoid them. So
fair enough. Anyway,
I kind of it depends. Not really. It depends. I guess it depends on my mood. Do I want to watch this clip? Do I not?
Problem is, if you watch it and you realize, oh, I didn't want to see that, you can't unwatch.
Yeah. And if you watch it too many times and then you actually see it in the episode, you're like, I've already seen this part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it's early on in the episode, and then you're just kind of like, oh, this isn't new. Get me to the new stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas if you hadn't watched the clip, it would be new to you.
Yeah.
Kind of like when Santa's entrance. When he came with the toys and all that.
I know. I was like, oh, I've seen this. Dang it, I ruined it for myself.
Yeah.
But it was okay because that wasn't what I didn't want to have ruined, apparently.
Yeah.
Because there were other things for me to be excited about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Yep. Well, unless anyone has anything else to add, I think that's going to be it for this week, which is short for us, actually. The holidays will do that. We're all on the food coma.
There wasn't a whole lot of news because everybody's just doing their year in review retrospective type stuff. So there's not much in the way of release dates or new stuff, and the movie season is winding down, so not a whole lot to. But in the new year, there's good stuff coming up.
We have lots to look forward to, and figure out our schedule and all that.
Yeah. So stay tuned. Watch the space. If there's something you want to bring up and want us to talk about or suggest, please send that in feedback. Which you can find all of our contact information at the 5ish Fangirls podcast.blogspot.com. There to our email address, our Facebook page, Twitter, Tumblr, wherever else we are. You can get downloads for our podcast or YouTube links or all of our show notes. So leave us a comment, leave us some feedback. Let us know if there's something you want us to talk about or to check out, or just that you want to send in a short review of. Please do. We'll take that and read that out. Or if there's something that we've talked about in the past that you want to discuss or leave your 2 cents in, we will love to take that as well. So until then, everyone have a happy and safe New Year. Buckle up if you're traveling, and we'll see you in 2015.
Yep.
Yes.
So with that, we'll sign off for this week.
This is Brittany Popios saying goodnight.
This is Chrissy saying goodnight from Callio, Utah.
This is Alex saying good evening.
This is Mitch in Kitchener, Ontario, saying goodnight.
And this is Rachel, currently in South Bend, Indiana. Good night, everyone, and have a happy New Year. You have been listening to the 5ish Fangirls podcast. Any and all movies, books, games, and other forms of media mentioned are owned and operated by the respective copyright holders. No copyright infringement is intended or implied.